Welcome to Milak Online Tutorial. Now let us look at this exponential equation. Now here we have 3 raised to the power of the square root of x equals 6 raised to the power of x raised to the power of 2. Okay, so how do we go about it? Now first of all, let us see that we are having different bases, so it might be a bit tricky, but however there's always a way. Alright, so let's do this. Now I want to undo this base of 3. Okay, now let us recall that according to the law of logarithm, if I have a raised to the power of x maybe equals b. Okay, now if I want to undo this base a, I can apply a log with a base of a. So which means if I apply log base of a to a raised to the power of x, and the same thing here, log b base a. Okay, I have undo this. I will undo this a by doing this. That is x log a base a, giving us what? Log b base b. Okay, now according to the power log. So at this point now, since a base a will give us what? 1, and according to the log, when the argument and the base is the same thing, then that becomes 1. So here we can now say that x equals what? Log b base a. Okay, so let us apply this rule here, which means I'll be applying log base 3 to both sides of the equation. So let us start. Let's say here log 3 raised to the power of x base 3 then equals log 6 raised to the power of x raised to the power of 2 base 3. Okay, so I'm applying this same log this same rule I apply here, or let me just write it, that log a raised to the power of n is the same thing as saying n log a. I apply that here. So we have the square root of x log 3 base 3 then equals, then we can now apply that thing here. We have x squared then 6 then base 3. So this one now, because we know that log 10 base 10 equals what? 1. So log 3 base 3 give us 1. So we are left with the square root of x then equals x raised to the power of 2 log 6 base 3. So at this point now, let's undo the square root here, and by doing that we will need to square both sides of the equation. So here we have the raised to the power of 2. Okay, so we've raised both sides to the power of 2. So this power here we undo the square root here, so we are left with x then equals, now according to indices, take note, if you have a b or raised to the power of n, this will give us what? A raised to the power of n times b raised to the power of what? N. So we can distribute 2 to both of the terms here. Then we have x raised to the power of 4, because x raised to the power, raised to the power of 2 raised to the power of 2 will give us 4. Then into log 6 base 3 all raised to the power of what? 2. So at this point now, since we have a variable here x, and here we also have x, it's not ideal that we divide, because we might lose one of the solutions. So let subtracting x from both sides, then equating it to 0. So here we have x raised to the power of 4 then log 6 base 3 all raised to the power of 2 minus x equals what? 0. Okay, so at this point now we can factor out x. So here we have x then into x raised to the power of 3 then log 6 base 3 raised to the power of 2. Okay, then minus 1 then equals 0. Okay, let me put a square bracket here so that we don't get confused. Okay, so now since 2 times x equals to 0, it means one of it or either of it, either of it equals to 0 or both. So it means now one of our solution here now is x equals what? 0. So let us now work on this. So here we have x raised to the power of 3 into log 6 base 3 all raised to the power of what? 2. So this particular one now, we can actually add that for simplicity's sake. So adding 1 to both sides here, we end up having x raised to the power of 3 then into log 6 base 3 all raised to the power of 2 then equals what? 1. So at this point now, we can divide both sides by log 6 base 3 all squared. So here we have x raised to the power of 3, then will give us what? 1 all over log 6 base 3 all raised to the power of what? 2. So now what we just need to do here now is just let's raise both sides to the reciprocal of what? 3. Okay, so that we will undo this 3 and find the value of our x. So at this point now, we can now say the whole of this x raised to the power of 3 all raised to the power of the reciprocal of 3 then equals 1 then all over log 6 base 3 all raised to the power of 2 all this 1 over what? 3. So the whole of this undo this, so we are left with x then equals which will be the final answer. So it will be 1 all over log 6 base 3 all raised to the power of 2. Okay, now since we can distribute 1 over 3 to both the numerator and the denominator, and when we distribute it here, we just multiply 3. Okay, yeah, there's the final answer. So we have two solutions, x equals to 0 and x equals the whole of this. Actually, I've done my calculation and it satisfies the equation. Thank you and God bless you.